Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you will be updated on all my future content. So this video is going to be a review of multi-digit subtraction with regrouping. 70,001 minus 48,795 is our first example problem, and we're going to go through step by step how to solve that problem. So for a problem like this, what I would recommend is do all of your regrouping before you do any subtraction. And I always say, before you move to subtract, check and see if regrouping is needed. Now we regroup whenever there is a bottom digit that is bigger than the top digit. So checking the 10,000s place, we're finding the 10,000s place. In the thousands place, to start, we will need regrouping in the thousands place. You cannot start out with 0 and take away 8. So we need to take a 10 from the 10,000s place and add 10 to the thousands place. So the 7 is going to become a 6. Then the 0 is going to become a 10. Basically, I'm crossing the digit out and rewriting it with the 1 in front of it. Next, going to the hundreds place, you cannot start out with a 0 and take away 7. So we're going to add a 10 to the hundreds place, and then we have to take 1 away from the thousands place. So the 0 becomes a 10, and then the 10 in the thousands place, we have to take away 1. That now becomes a 9. Now looking in the tens place, you can't start out with 0 and take away 9. So we have to add a 10 to the tens place. And then we have to take away 10 from the hundreds place. Taking away 10 from the hundreds place. So that 10, we're going to take away 1. That's going to become a 9. Now in the ones place, you can't start out with 1 and take away 5. So we have to take a 10. That 1 will become an 11, and then the 10 in the tens place, we have to take away 1. It'll become a 9. So now just making sure all the top digits are equal to or bigger than the bottom digits. 11 is bigger than 5. In the tens place, both digits are the same. And that works. The top and bottom digits can be equal. The bottom digit just can't be bigger than the top digit. All right, 9 is bigger than 7, 9 is bigger than 8, 6 is bigger than 4. All right, we are ready to subtract. So starting in the ones place, 11 minus 5 equals 6. 9 minus 9 equals 0. 9 minus 7 equals 2. 9 minus 8 equals 1. And 6 minus 4 equals 2. And we have our final answer. 70,001 minus 48,795 equals 21,206. All right, moving on to the next example problem. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. It's the Mr. C. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. Shout out to Mr. C. All right, now our second example problem is 57,435 minus 19,812. So going through step by step how to solve that problem. So again, we're going to do all our regrouping before we do any subtraction. We regroup from left to right, and then we subtract from right to left. So in the thousands place, you cannot start out with 7 and take away 9. So we have to take a 10 from the 10,000s place. The 7 is going to become a 17. The 5 is going to become a 4. Back in the 90s, we used to call this borrowing, but it's not really borrowing because we don't give it back. Now you cannot start out with 4 and take away 8, so we're going to need to regroup here too. So the 4 is going to become a 14. 17, we have to take away 1, that's going to become a 16. Now in the tens place, we're fine. 3 is bigger than 1. We don't need to regroup in the tens place. In the ones place, though, we also don't need to regroup in the ones place. 5 is bigger than 2. So we have done all of our regrouping. 14 is bigger than 8, 16 is bigger than 9, 4 is bigger than 1. We are now ready to subtract. So, starting in the ones place, 5 minus 2 equals 3. 3 minus 1 equals 2. 14 minus 8 equals 6. 16 minus 9 equals 7. 4 minus 1 equals 3. And we have our final answer, 57,435 minus 19,812 equals 37,623. Shout out to everybody tuning in. I appreciate you being here. Shout out to all the people who's on my chat with really high IQs. I think that is very impressive. Somebody in the chat just shared their IQ. I think that's impressive, man. Congratulations. All right, next example. All right, 45,000 minus 28,916. So again, we are going to do all of our regrouping before we do any subtraction. And we regroup from left to right, and then we subtract from right to left. So now in the thousands place, we cannot start out with 5 and take away 8. We would be in negative numbers. So we have to take a 10 from the 10,000s place. The 4 in the 10,000s place is going to become a 3. The 5 in the thousands place is going to become a 15. So it's always add 10, take away 1. If the idea of adding 10 is a little too complicated, just think of it like this. You're crossing the number out, and then you're rewriting it with a 1 in front of it. Now, in the hundreds place, you cannot start out with 0 and take away 9, so we're going to take a 10. From the thousands place, the 0 will become a 10, and then the 15, we have to take away 1, it's going to become a 14. Now in the tens place, again, you can't start out with 0 and take away 1, so we add a 10, the 0 becomes a 10, and then the 10 in the hundreds place becomes a 9. Now we are in the ones place. We cannot start out with 0 and take away 6, so we have to add a 10. The 0 becomes a 10. And the 10 in the tens place becomes a 9. And now we are ready to subtract. 10 minus 6 equals 4. Let me reline. You want to make sure that the numbers line up. That way we don't get confused here. Okay, here we go. 10 minus 6 equals 4. 9 minus 1 equals 8. 9 minus 9 equals 0. 14 minus 8 equals 6. 3 minus 2 equals 1. And we have our final answer. 45,000 minus 28,916 equals 16,084. All right, moving on to the next example problem. And this will probably be the final example problem of the video. All right, final example problem. 77,711 minus 29,055. So again, we're going to do all our grouping before we do any subtraction. So for this problem, we will need to regroup in the thousands place, the tens place, and the ones place. We regroup whenever there is a bottom digit that is bigger than the top digit. So in the thousands place, you can't start out with 7 and take away 9, so we have to take a 10 in the 10,000s place. So the 7 is going to become a 17, and then the 7 is going to become a 6. We're good, all good in the hundreds place. In the tens place, you cannot start out with 1 and take away 5, so we have to take a 10 from the hundreds place. The 1 is going to become an 11. The 7, again, we have to take away 1, that will become a 6. All right. Again, we can't start out with 1 and take away 5, so we're going to have to add a 10. That 1 becomes an 11. Then we go back to the tens place. The 11, we take away 1, it becomes a 10. So starting in the ones place, 11 minus 5 equals 6. 10 minus 5 equals 5. 6 minus 0 equals 6. 17 minus 9 equals 8. 6 minus 2 equals 4. And we have our final answer. 77,711 minus 29,055, 48,656. What are you confused about? Alright. I don't want to leave the chat with the people, with viewers being confused, so I am going to do 2 more problems. Alright. Okay, 24,117 minus 10,918. All right, so anybody confused, listen up. Hopefully this will clear it up. So basically, we have to regroup whenever there is a bottom digit that is bigger than the top digit. So if the top digit and the bottom digit are equal, then we don't need to regroup. Or if the top digit is bigger than the bottom digit, then we do not need to regroup. We only regroup when the bottom digit is bigger than the top digit. So looking at this problem, we're going to need to regroup in the hundreds place, and we're going to need to regroup in the ones place. Because you cannot start out with 1 and take away 9, and you cannot start out with 7 and take away 8. Now we regroup by adding 10 to the area that needs to be regrouped, and then taking away 1 from the place to the left. So for example, the 1, if you look at 1 minus 9, you know we can't start with 1 and take away 9. The 1 is going to become an 11. So we're adding 10, basically. We're adding 10, or think of it as we're crossing out the number and rewriting it with a 1 in front of it. So that 1 becomes an 11. Now that 10 didn't come out of nowhere. I was about to say borrowed. We took it from the place to the left. So we look at the thousands place, we have to take away 1. That 4 is going to become a 3. We took a 10 from the thousands place and then we added it to the hundreds place. All right. Now in the ones place, we can't start out with 7 and take away 8. So again, we're going to take a 10. That 7 is going to become a 17. Then we have to take away 1. That 1 is going to become a 0. Now this is where people are a little thrown off. Now that we've taken 1 away, now we have a bottom digit that is bigger in the tens place. We can't start out with 0 and take away 1. So what do? We repeat the pattern. That 0 is going to become a 10. We have to add a 10 to the tens place now. And then the 11 in the hundreds place, we have to take away 1. That 11 is also going to become a 10. So now we are ready to subtract. So starting in the ones place, 17 minus 8 equals 9. 10 minus 1 equals 9. 10 minus 9 equals 1. 3 minus 0 equals 3. 2 minus 1 equals 1. And we have our final answer. 24,117 minus 10,918 equals 13,199. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you're still feeling confused. If you're still confused, put a 1 in the chat. If I don't see any 1s in the chat by the 18-minute mark, I'm going to call it a video. But did an additional problem, did an additional review for anybody that was confused. So in the chat, if you're still confused, put a 1 in the chat. If you're not confused and you feel you understand, just don't, then you don't need to respond. All right, going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I haven't heard anything, so I'm going to assume that we're all set. Confusion was cleared up. Again, if you're still confused, please put a 1 in the chat because I will do another problem, another couple of problems. That looks like we're all good. So that is my live stream. Until next time, I'm Mr. Camilleri, and this is the Mr. Camilleri Show YouTube channel.